CrashAndLaMister.com's Daily Brief. The answer to your question is learn the goddamn process, trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Frivolity, our daily brief public show here. Today is Wednesday, actually, so I don't think we're going to do an after party show. If anything, Chris and I are going to go off and see if we can work on things like YouTube shorts and clips and all that kind of stuff with our after party time. So we'll just do a quick summary market video here for you and send you on your good way. Today is Wednesday. Usually we do, not usually, but of late, I'm trying to do a crypto show with the Coinigy people, but I haven't heard from Joe today, so I don't know whether we're going to be doing that. But maybe keep your eyes peeled for social media links and stuff for crypto shows and stuff like that tonight. I don't know. Might do it like once every 2 weeks or something. It's a tough one. Anyway. Okay, so what's your market summary today? I mean, clearly there's really only one news headline. Everybody in the world, of course, woke up, especially in North America. I saw when it sort of the news hit, and I think that this is based on a sort of Asian session in European. I think actually it was through European hours that this came out. But anyway, point of the matter here is the U.S. debt credit rating basically was downgraded by these credit rating agencies. Not really a big surprise. I mean, you've seen what that Biden guy's done to basically the U.S. balance sheet. It's total, drove a truck through it. And, I mean, I'm not saying if anything, unfortunately, probably the U.S.'s shit stinks the least here in the world because substitute drama teachers, they've done much, much worse. And actually, I'm surprised Canada's credit rating hasn't been downgraded. And then, of course, on top of all that, the one thing that'll probably make sure that these countries actually do have revenue coming in, commodities that are actually needed around the world. They're just was reading lots of articles from the U.S. energy sort of infrastructure people saying that the Biden administration has done some serious damage to basically American oil independence. The irony of it all is that we got enough energy probably to supply the entire world over here if we really want to use it. And ironically enough, of course, when it comes to things like, well, we're fighting global wars, all that kind of environmental stuff just goes poof right out the window. It'd be interesting to see how green Lockheed Martin is or Northrop Grumman. Yeah, right. What a joke. Anyway, so news headline today is American debt was downgraded. And actually, it's kind of interesting because we have been sort of barking a while about how there has been, like a lot of rhetoric from sort of talking heads in the marketplace about how, kind of vulnerable this market is. Here's the S&P 500 ETF. I mean, I think I even mentioned this yesterday. We've come an awfully long way here. WD Gann, he would just simply say that whatever your up move is, and we had a beautiful outside upside key reversal signal to actually start this whole mess off there back last fall, which is ironic because nobody was bullish last fall. And in a weird sort of way, just eyeballing this chart, it almost looks to me like that's almost like a midpoint. So we probably needed to do an equal distance higher here. I don't know where the midpoint might be. It might be there though. So, this is almost like a reflection of this image. So anyway, the point here is that Mr. Gann would just simply say, well, the natural thing to see happen here is a 50% retracement, which means, we could very easily work our way right back down to 404 or the stock market could lose 10% here, just doing what it naturally ought to do. Doesn't mean it's going to do it, but naturally, this is what, if this was a healthy, normal market, that's actually what should happen. And I think a really good analogy of this kind of thinking is in 1987, people talked about how there was a big stock market crash. Oh, the end of the world. And keep in mind that I think that we are now in a very similar sort of environment where the banksters have gone and hyperinflated the money supply, which they did coming out of the 1970s. Sort of endorse the idea of deficit spending, which really isn't very healthy. And of course, this is half the mess that we're living in. But anyway, there is your 1987 crash. I mean, I don't know whether now is a similar scenario. Maybe we have to wait a few years for this to happen. But just so you can see that, the base here was like 1980. And if you just do a 50% retracement, this really wasn't a crash. The irony of it all is most of the audience that I'm talking to here probably doesn't even remember this event, or, they were too young to remember. But I distinctly remember this. And there were literally people jumping out of windows on Wall Street committing suicide over this event. It was that big. But, the irony of it all is that, there's the base. This is kind of stupid, and that's actually natural. They had to get rid of the excess. And notice how into that 50% level, it was basically into a cluster of previous lows. This is actually why when I'm day trading, I like to identify horizontal support and resistance, and I like to hunt trade setups against previous key lows and highs. So fast forward to today, and we just this is the Dow. I mean, I don't know whether we're going to use this base. Base has gone by. I don't even know whether I really even feel comfortable that the Dow is actually even topped out here. I think it's more like, what it really is it's these funny little tech stocks. They just went way too far, too fast. Actually, I had on the screen here earlier. I think I had it on here. AMD. Look at that outside downside reversal. And actually, I even put out a tweet. It was kind of funny. Maybe I have it on the other screen. Where did it? Yeah, here. The old planes, trains, and automobiles. I don't know whether you remember that movie or not, but anyway, I put the tweet out. Some brokerage house today came out with, and they upgraded AMD stock right in the face of that. I'm sure they come out with their big upgrade and their earnings report. Everything's great. Stocks capping higher. We're all gonna get rich, boys. Everybody's gonna go pile it on the long side. And then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. So, and I even pointed this out in the tweet. What really bothers me about this current market state, especially with the way these damn tech stocks have been one directional here, is you're getting a lot of people on social media who are saying, see how easy this trading is, see how easy all this is, anybody can make money, buy my newsletter, buy my course, all that kind of crap, right? And I tell you, man, this is a difficult market. And unfortunately, a lot of people are going to get really punished here. It'd be interesting to see how many people in social media are going to actually come out and openly admit that they're getting their heads handed to them here. And as I showed you on that SPY, like and actually it's kind of cool that I've been talking so much about things like key reversals lately, because they're popping up everywhere. I thought this was super cool. I tweeted this one out, and keep in mind, you're not going to find many places on the interneting that even report this concept called key reversals. And our engine actually spits them out on a daily basis. Every Monday, I go through the site and just sort of review some of the signals. But of course, That's all this. And we even have actually we've changed the name from Brian Screeners because I kind of want to genericize it for TRI. I don't want it just to be Brian this, Brian that. Interesting. Oh, actually, I think Sjord's trying to make this mobile friendly, so he's probably put every single thing down just one column here. I'm not quite sure what's going on here, but anyway, you all know that I talk lots about the key reversal signals. Super powerful. Actually, we even have reversals in crypto too. So where was I going to show you? So here's some bullish key reversal signals. Actually, this is alt gas. That's an interesting one. So that's a big natural gas utility. Anyway, so we spend this is our sort of proprietary paid for service. But key reversal signals, gee whiz, they sure are powerful. What I wanted to show you was, unfortunately, though, Stuart's gone and reorganized all this stuff, so I'm not quite sure where to. I'll show you this. There is the bullish reversals. Interesting how we have AT&T and Dish. I don't know where the bearish ones are on this list. They got to be down here somewhere. Anyway, point of the matter here is Tesla came up on the screener recently. And actually, we're seeing a bunch of them all over the place. Like I said, a big honking one on Tesla that's been working now for a couple weeks. I don't see any reason why that wouldn't. Another automotive stock, there's a outside downside key reversal, and it's just working away, doing its thing. And actually interesting enough, we had like bullish reversals here on this Chinese ETF, but it's sort of just treading water here in this market. And then, of course, we were talking about the small caps. Had a really good secret options formula club meeting last night with the OG stock traders on the site. I think we all sort of concurred that, coming in on the buy side up top here, probably not a good idea. We all, I think, decided that we wanted to wait for at least Collins pump chaser zone first stop targets 50% of this recent range. And of course, ideally, where would I like to buy? Hopefully you guys have seen me talk lots about this reload zones. And notice reload zones happen to line up nicely with previous bullish market structure. So, we've been talking about this a while. Whether it be something like, that thing looks dangerous. But even if we just look at the S&P 500, this is quite shocking, right? That is an outside downside key reversal. What's fascinating is that you guys are all now getting a very public education in these key reversals. It's great that we have the signals on the system now. And I hope you now, especially you people in the public, you're learning something new here that nobody in the power market talks about. Of course, 6 months from now we're going to have like 20 different guys on social media all talking about how their idea of key reversals is the shit. Oh, goodness. Drives you nuts. Anyway, this sell signal has actually fired here today. And we were sort of conjecturing like why, we kind of knew that the market was nosebleedy. You heard a lot of sort of talking heads like that Tom Lee now guy, he's getting all popular again from Fundstrat guy. And he was on CNBC barking about how he thought August was going to be a little bit tough. The fundamentals, that's probably the best thing that Tom can comment on. Does very good fundamental research. Now we can actually start getting technical anecdotal evidence that there are sell signals developing here in the market. So be cognizant of that. If anything, what I often suggest people, and we have one site, OG, who's very good at using the algos and the bots on the site. And his simple, I'll just show you for illustration purposes. His rule is if I see crypto and I see the S&P opposite signals, I just cool my jets. So it was interesting that we did have a buy signal on crypto recently, but we have this sell pattern working on the S&P 500, and it's a very, very wishy-washy market. And I have to say, I'm pretty impressed with Bitcoin and with crypto, um, because I think here it is here. There was the last algo sell buy signal. And interestingly enough, if we were had this conversation last night, the algo was actually back in the money. And it's just been oscillating around buy, sell, just sort of, fluttering here. And I think the reason why I actually think the backdrop summer silly season, usually this is when crypto does fairly well. I think I'm allowed to show you this signal because it was a few days ago. It wasn't real time, but the broader market just is super unhappy right now, right? That's the S&P 500. Just not happy at all. Like I said, I've told you guys recently, that's this chart. When I saw this, I was just like, oh boy, that's got trouble written all over it. And frankly speaking, what you're seeing in the marketplace, I think, is basically an illustration of that. But interesting how it's not really hitting Bitcoin that much. I mean, the irony of it all in the weekly chart is all this is just a big fat doji against a 13 EMA. So what? It's like it's a non-event. It's painful and it's slow and it's grinding, and there's not really a hell of a lot happening. We've got the Litecoin event. I think its happening event is either today or tomorrow, something along those lines. And ironically enough, we've tried to talk you through all this, but actually, Litecoin has done everything that we said we thought was going to happen here. In fact, actually, I have a better place over here. Litecoin, there you are. Um, the rule is, and if you've never heard this before, and you're listening to this crazy Beamish guy for the first time, maybe write this down. But the rule is that, like, the great part about it is it's like every 4 years you can literally set your watch to it. I guess I don't know where the happening event is. I thought it was the third, but anyway, something like that. That this silly thing loves to top out just about exactly 1 year ahead, or 1 year, sorry, 1 month ahead of that happening event. I suppose we can just go LTC happening event. I don't know whether it'll show it here. Here's a countdown clock. Is this showing? Here we go. It's going to happen it's already happened. Has it already happened? Litecoin happening completed. Oh, there you go. August. What? Okay, so I'm not quite sure what's going on here. This might not be the best source to work with. Anyway, point here is we all know there's a big halvening event coming up for Litecoin. So, just had its third halvening 37 minutes ago. Did it just happen today? Isn't that interesting? Okay, well, anyway, I'm just wasting time here. So, not really a big surprise what Litecoin has done here. If anything, we want to let the market stabilize and sort of digest all of this, and then we can get back to maybe silly season. And the interesting thing about silly season is we were kind of joking about this. I don't think this guy got the memo that crypto was done. And you're probably going to find that there's going to be more of these meme coin kind of idea pumps and stuff through the summer. This is usually the time of year when this stuff is easily pumpable. So I'm still long a whack of this stuff, and I'll be more than happy to keep spoon shilling or spoon feeding the market coins if this thing keeps working its way higher. We just simply bought the W back. In fact, actually, I think we bought here through the end of the year, and have just been banging out doubles as we keep working our way higher here. I mean, it's just everything that we do, everything that we teach at TRI, rinse and repeat. Nothing. Don't overthink this stuff. Just slow and steady wins a race. So there's your market. If anything, ironically enough, the one beneficiary of the big downgrade, I mean, one unbeneficiary, if you can say that, is anybody who borrows money in this world. And of course, whether you know me or not, I live by the mantra, neither a borrower nor a lender be. I don't get affected by any of this, debt crap. I don't carry mortgages. I don't have car loans. I don't have credit card debt. I don't do any of that kind of crap. So this doesn't really affect me, but very simply put, lower highs and lower lows. You can all see what's going on here. It's interesting how a guy that I respect in the market, Hugh Hendry, Hugh actually likes investing in U.S. Treasuries here, but I don't know. This is going to be a tough one because I think we're coming down into a buying window here, technically speaking, but I'm from Missouri. So, there is a huge gap on the chart. And as you can see, we've had this conversation recently. I am thinking lower highs and lower lows is a bear. And if I do want to get bullish, I gotta see some sort of W pattern come in. And if anything, on this debt downgrade news, it is kind of interesting. It's sort of an aside, but that's pretty big considering we all live all these governments all live, basically up to their ears in debt. You would have thought this would have been like a front page news in the US. And is this a function of the way that the media is manipulated down in the States? What's the big news that they're touting here today? More of course, Mr. Trump and all of his legal challenges and all that kind of stuff. And that's, you just look right across the news headlines, and every single news headline here is talking about Trump and almost no reference to the debt downgrade, which I suppose is, that's an interesting commentary. The banksters, they definitely control the media, and I don't. If anything, they kind of want this debt downgrade to just slide underneath the radar, and people not to acknowledge, how bad the debt situation is. But anyway, yeah. All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. So, I suppose we can talk a little bit about, I mean, obviously, like I said, the most important event here today is this credit rating downgrade. As I was saying there a moment ago, ironically enough, the actual biggest beneficiary of all of this is the US dollar. So remember, this is the US dollar index. So it's like a basket of all the world fiat currencies. And in essence, if this thing's going up, then it means they're saying get out of the world currencies and get out of risk, and go bury your head in the sand and don't take any risk. So it is interesting to see how the US dollar index ratcheted higher here. Of course, I do run the day trading plans. And unfortunately, when I woke up and I saw that debt rating news, I even posted it in the lounge. The number one thing that jumped out at me, and I suggest you all do this, is I think it's a good way for you to frame your day, is right out of the gate, just ask yourself, what the hell did Japan do? And you can see Japan just got absolutely destroyed overnight, down almost 2.5%. And the stock market down 2.5%. I think I've told you guys before, if you've never heard this before, write it down. Move greater than 2% will catch people's attention. That's going to definitely paint headlines. So as a result, I would actually expect that Europe and North America also should be down in those kind of numbers. So with that backdrop, when I loaded up the charts here this morning, I'm kind of like, I don't know whether I really want to be really aggressive coming into the market here. So I've been like uber, just quiet here today, not really wanting to do a hell of a lot. Daily futures charts, I think, again, we've been talking lots about this recently. August was supposed to be some, kind of a bit of a soft month. You can argue that in the futures charts themselves, we have smiles working, gapping lower. Does this turn into a gap and go? My hunch is after the dust settles, after all of this debt downgrade kind of talk, we're probably going to rally right back up and fill in the gap. Anyway, you know how often gaps like to get filled. But I don't know. I don't really want to be the hero to step in front of this and call bottoms. That can sometimes get a little dangerous. And also, too, notice, fog and bombs. This was a couple that were to the upside. Well, now we can do fog and bombs to the downside because this M is in place. So there to there, and chaos theory. Believe it or not, actually, I like her. And this makes sense, right? You've heard me talk about candle body lows for trade location. Wicks and tails like to be eaten. There's a whole bunch of trap bears down there that would love to get out. There's also a juicy price gap down here that should be filled in. So a nice little dump. And also, too, I think we're trading within a pretty big trend channel. So this channel was drawn off of this market structure here. And I think that's pretty relevant. And notice that the bottom of this trend line aligns nicely with that 2.618 area as well. So, if I'm thinking about, well, I'm going to call a bottom, believe it or not, I'm actually thinking maybe somewhere down in here. And, again, does this align with thoughts that we've had previously? And I remember Brian, and I publicly put this out, and I love to do this and go, okay, well, let's see how this tweet ages. But I could very easily see Allen come off a big chunk, fill in the gap here, back to the trend line support. Like 1.5 to 1 risk reward, just knee jerk reaction setups on these key reversal candles. And, this is actually probably one of the better ones. If you look at something like General Motors here, I mean, this is all open air. This thing could easily, where are we? We're at, what does it say, $37 or so, somewhere in that neighborhood. And you could easily see General Motors down here at like 32, 33. So that's easily like 10, 15% drop, even from where we are now. So very, very risky market. I did like the idea of some longs. I'd be, this would be an interesting setup to see how this plays out. Keep in mind that is a weekly price chart. I don't know. I mean, you know me. I'm not really a fan of China. I'm not really a fan. You know me and my thoughts on China and Winnie and Vladdy and all that nonsense. I actually really do like the idea that pullbacks are buying opportunities. And it's the same message as in crypto. I think 23 is a window of opportunity. And we were conjecturing like what was going to be the news that was actually going to bring the market back down here through August. So something like a debt downgrade, you call that systemic risk, doesn't really have a lot to do with the companies, doesn't really have a lot to do with the whole inflation issue. This is just an issue with regard to credit rating and all that. So maybe that's the macro driver that's going to pull these things back into support. And I'll tell you, there's a couple areas. We had a really cool meeting last night. I'm not really ready to think about going and actually pulling the trigger on buying anything right now, but there are a few names in the 3D printing space that I think look very, very attractive. And I'll just finish off with this little treat for you. You can see probably not a good idea to go and buy that now, but watch what happens when I go out to like a weekly price chart on something like that. I mean, that this is everything. If this was a Schultz coin, Eddie would be in there buying it like a crazy ass motherfucker. Eddie's in the call here with us. But I mean, you can see the W working here. Look at these price gaps all the way up top here. And ironically enough, this is a name that this is kind of like a Kathy Woods kind of name. But they're coming in and they're actually trying to, it's almost like a hostile takeover of another 3D printing company. And we had a great meeting last night. Well, that's school business stuff. We had a great meeting last night with the SOF Club, and we found an ETF in this space. You can see there's the NNDM, and this PRNT is an exchange traded fund 3D printing ETF. Went through a bunch of these names. This NNDM is actually swallowing up this SSYS. But I mean, just look at that chart. I mean, it's everything that I try and teach you guys. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful chart. The irony of it all is that I'm already long a whole bunch of this, so it's not. And I'm honestly tempted. I'm thinking about going and buying some more. But I think I want to wait for this thing to clean itself up and maybe put in another W, and then maybe I'll go and buy some more. But gee whiz, what a cool looking chart. So I can already start to see the next bull market. And look how high this silly thing was. It used to be $100 a share. So, I can see the next bull. You can see it starting to form here. And so this was kind of a cool conversation that we had last night in our stock pickers club. The other stock pickers in our club can start to see this stuff coming together. It's not a buy today. It's probably, if anything, they're going to use things like debt downgrade stress and, oh my God, Mr. Trump's the most evil thing in the world, blah, 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 bring all these things down. And really, all they're going to be doing is just bringing this, like, where's the trend line support? So there's trend line support. And then we do things like reload zones. Where is it? Brian's favorite fib, blah, blah, blah. You know how all this goes. It actually gets rather cliche after a while. And if anything, that's the whole point of this, is that a good buy is a good buy is a good buy. Can you see three unrelated reasons to justify you acting? And can you see them that over time they have repeatedly worked over and over and over? So you can see we've got reload zone, we've got gap fills, we've got trend line support. Yeah, if I get an opportunity to step in on the buy side down in this area, I'm so all over this thing. So there's a nice little idea for you to consider. Am I buying anything here today? No. Am I even doing any day trading? No. I was patient and willing and ready and able to pull the trigger, but I just didn't have anything set up off of levels. If anything, as I'm talking here, now, if I was going to be hunting W's in the marketplace, they're starting to come in now on some volume too. So that figures. So I might hunt something later on today, maybe do like a reload zone, see if I can sneak my way in off of candle body lows and reload zones, blah, blah, blah. You know how it all goes. But through most of the morning here, I didn't see much. If anything, I just kept seeing more sell patterns coming in. So there's your summary. Obviously, the debt downgrade news is rocking the market. And as I said, with Japan, they were not happy at all. So I don't really expect a heck of a lot of outperformance here in the market today. And if anything, I have to actually be pretty impressed with Bitcoin because remember, it is still working that algo buy. It's actually hanging in here, While the rest of the market's getting its head handed to, Bitcoin's just sort of treading water. So go figure. All right. Have yourselves a great day. PMA for the win. Be sure to check the lounge this evening if you happen to be in North America for links for Coinigy shows. Still haven't really talked to Joe, though, so I'm not quite sure whether we're going to do one here this afternoon or not. But I wouldn't mind talking a little crypto here this evening. And some fun little meme coins. And are there any new W's coming in that maybe we can think about buying? All right. Have yourselves a great day. All the best. And bye for now.